Hello everybody and welcome to the George Michael Singers podcast. Thank you for listening. Hope you're enjoying the stories. Please don't forget to subscribe. Hi everybody, we are the George Michael Singers and this is Joe Garland and this is
Shirley Lewis.
Hi. We just thought we'd leave a voice note to say thank you so much to everybody that's been tuning in, listening to our podcasts, subscribing. That is just so helpful. Please continue to do that because we want to share some more stories with you. This is the last episode of this season 2 of Conversations with the George Michael Singers.
Because we have a very busy summer ahead, so follow us on all our social media to find out where we are and what we're doing. Yeah. But enjoy this podcast because it really is very, very emotional and it's going to take us into a really kind of sad year, but a year that we should still keep celebrating our love, George Michael.
Yeah, this podcast will make you realise why we're doing what we're doing. Yeah. It's quite emotional, so maybe you can have some tissues handy.
Yeah. Enjoy. Thank you.
What was your very first experience working with George Michael like, and what impression did he leave on you as an artist and as a person?
What was your first?
My first was actually meeting George when I met a guy called David Austin. That was his best mate. Working in the studio with George was an experience. George is the kind of guy that he likes to do everything himself. I remember we recorded this song called One Nation Under a Groove. He recorded everything. And by the time I got to come in to do my part, there was very little room left. But it sounded great.
Joe, what was your first?
My first experience was getting a phone call at 4 o'clock in the afternoon after having quite a heavy night on the old. And he said, "Do you fancy coming down doing some backing vocals?" I was like, "Okay then." So not prepared. Went down to Psalm, and that was when I did Fast Love. Wow. And as soon as I walked into the studio, I remember going, "Well, I just want everybody to know I'm really shitting myself." Johnny Douglas was there, and he made me laugh so much, and George, they put me at ease. So I ended up singing sending you forget-me-nots bits. Yeah, that was my first
amazing. Mine was super early on. I mean, I met George a bunch of times because I was on tour with Elton, so they were really good friends at the time. And I think he sang on Wrap Her Up, a song called Wrap Her Up. So we did a video. Me and George already did a video together.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so we kind of met there and sort of clicked, but it wasn't, I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't even really think he'd even noticed me, to be fair. And then after we'd finished with Elton, then he asked me to do the Wham final. So that was my first. And actually the first show we did was at Brixton Academy. We did a warm-up show at Brixton Academy, and George had these new cowboy boots, and he came from like stage right. I mean, I was the only singer on that, which was amazing, the only backup singer. And he came from stage right, like past me, and literally slid from the curtain all the way.
Oh wow!
And we were like, "Oh,
did he hurt himself?"
He didn't actually.
Oh, good.
He didn't. Good. But he did on the actual Wham final hurt himself. He did a jump and sprained his ankle, and carried on with the show. Because he's a professional.
Were they the same cowboy boots that he said when he was
doing Careless Whisper?
Careless Whisper, and he looked down and his jeans were outside?
Yeah, he was like, "Oh no, that's really that defined look," when he had tucked his jeans in. Yeah. No, they were different colours.
How did performing alongside George influence your own development as a singer and performer?
I would say for me, George being like a perfectionist, if you like him, and he's the kind of guy that nothing goes out unless he's, it's like he goes in, he does something just over and over again. And even although, I mean, for myself, I would look at something and I would feel, although it sounds right, you just always got to kind of make sure that you look into it to make sure that it is perfect. And I think working with George actually taught me that. I mean, sometimes you might record something and you think it's great one day, you come in the next day and you listen to it and you realise, you know what, it could be better. And that's what I got.
But don't you find though that kind of being that much of a perfectionist, sometimes you take so long to do something, and it's kind of not necessary, or do you feel?
No, it's. I mean, I think when it comes to recording, I think every day you're recording your voice. I mean, you might sound one way one day, but the next day slightly, you know, it's a different thing. I mean, I find if you're in a, because I mean, most times, I mean, to really put down a really good vocal, I mean, you're probably going to be in the studio just for one song, maybe a good like 8 hours, and because you're in that same environment, you only hear what it really sounds like the next day. And you come in and then you think, oh right, this is what afterwards and stuff. But
Well,
Yeah, I think he definitely influenced me in a sense of his work ethic and getting it right. That sort of that being prepared and constant rehearsal. You know, that, I mean, I was for the MTV Unplugged. I mean, I had rehearsed myself 6 weeks prior to the actual 6 week rehearsals that we did. So it was that. I mean, he was, yeah, exactly. But he was, you know, when he was in work mode, you just I was just like a sponge. I just sat there and just listened to everything that he had to share and say, and learnt a lot. And also from the band and you guys, when I was in that environment. In the studio was, you know, it was a bit different. It was a bit more loose and fun. Yeah, we did have a laugh. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it definitely influenced me in terms of how I use my voice. Actually, not so much now because we've been doing more leads, doing the George Michael singers, but he definitely influenced me with my backing vocals because of that breathy sound that he liked.
Yes.
So then I ended up kind of, my tone ended up being that very soft, breathy sound.
I'll second that.
I remember when we first started doing this, and you said, "Oh, like when we did Under Your Weight," and you're like, "Oh, I didn't know you could sing like that," because I'm so used to singing very kind of quietly and breathy and stuff.
Of course,
so he did, but I actually really like that, and I do prefer that. I actually do prefer doing backing vocals. I still feel like I don't feel like a lead singer, but that's what's so nice about working with. You know,
yes, it's weird you say that because I think listening to, I think it was the Father Vega, he's got this really kind of like a breathy kind of tone to it, which was really kind of cool and sexy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I found out, I think there was a few other songs on that album.
Excuse me, that was me singing the song.
Oh, that was, sorry. Oh, sorry, George. I was
Can
trying
I just say? Can I
It was
also
usual. Sorry.
that the older album was very breath heavy
Really
as well.
was, yeah.
Breath heavy. That sounds so soothing.
But he did used to say that, just more breath.
Yeah, more breath,
darling.
darling. More breath, darling.
But it's actually hard. It's quite hard
It's harder.
because you're not really. It's not the note so much.
It's the
do you
air.
know what I mean?
It's the
air.
air.
Yeah. So, but yes. That's
And also, I just wanted to add that he influenced me in a sense of giving me confidence as well. For somebody to believe in you, someone like George Michael to believe in you, sign you to a record label, just elevate you in so many ways within the music industry. I think he's done that with all of us, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
That that's given me a lot of confidence.
George's music continues to resonate with millions of people. What does it personally mean to you to carry on performing and celebrating his songs today?
Oh gosh, everything. I mean, this is like.
It means everything to us. I mean, you know, me and Joe were talking about this actually in the car yesterday, that some people can be, you know, not everyone. I mean, generally we have a beautiful relationship with everyone that follows us, but sometimes you get the odd person that they say some very unkind things. And someone said that when we were saying we were going to announce that we were doing a tour, and then they'd said, "Oh yeah, you know, because they need the money," and we were like, wow, it's so not about that. And the thing is that I don't think people realise is we get paid for the songs that we've already recorded with George. We always do. That's, you know, so it's not, trust me, we're not doing things purely for the money. Obviously, that's just how things are. If something goes really well, obviously you're going to benefit from that. But mostly, it's like you do have to think about, you know, there's a crew, there's lights, there's sound, there's ticketing, there's ushers, there's, you know, so
we're giving people jobs as well.
Right.
Yeah, there's a price. Yeah, there's a price. But you know, it really, honestly, we've done a lot of things and really for nothing. Trust me. So yeah, just for, you know, I mean, like I said, most people on our GM Singers group. They're beautiful people and so supportive. But you know, you get the odd one just creep in, and just for them, I just want to clear that up.
I'd really like to add something to it, because this did start out a very organic process. This has evolved into something much bigger than we anticipated, and we really are enjoying the process. We've healed along the way, we've laughed along the way, we've cried along the way with the fans. This is also for them. You know, the podcasts that we have, conversations with the George Michael singers, although it's a bit rough around the edges, we don't get paid for that. That takes a lot of organising, lots of different parts. We do that so we can continue sharing these incredible, beautiful memories of our beautiful boss.
And it's healing for us, isn't it? We're getting so much,
and everyone else that's listening.
Yeah, we're getting so much out of being able to perform these songs again, because it gives us so much joy and feels like we're still really close to George. I mean,
and it wasn't. I mean, it's a thing as well. I mean, you must remember that it was really hard to actually start this project. It took us. I don't know. I could listen to George for a good 2 to 3 years every time I heard his voice. It was like, so actually doing this was really kind of, you know, I mean, we're dealing with a person that we've worked with for most of our lives. And it's like,
as you say, Jay, it's like keeping his spirit alive.
It is. It's really that.
You're right. It's like it's like. And I know a lot of people do understand, but like you just said, this is a person that we were with, you know, musically, through most of our lives. We were really young when we started, and now we
are. So, look what you've done to us.
Let's leave it there. Speak for yourselves.
Exactly.
Do you have one moment on stage or in the studio with George that perfectly captures who he was as a musician and as a human being?
Yeah, I do. That's when I recorded a moment with you. It was literally just me and him doing a late night session in the studio, and there was no engineers or anything. It was just me and him, and it was a moment with you. Is such an incredibly romantic, gorgeous song, and I think I've told this story before, but I'm going to say it again. We were actually in the booth, and he was behind me, and we were slow dancing together, and we were singing together, and it was just for one little moment. He wasn't gay. He was my man. No, it was an incredible moment, and I'm so blessed.
Or anything last this morning?
No, I know.
Just on a singing high.
Yeah, we were on a singing high. That's one of my. I've got quite a few moments, but a moment with you, he gave me a moment with him.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, ask a question.
He was so engrossed in what she was saying.
Do you have one moment on stage or in the studio with George that perfectly captures who he was as a musician and as a human being?
Yeah, it's really, I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, I think George has always been like a perfectionist, as we know. I mean, there was one particular moment which I probably said over and over again. We rehearsed Cowboys and Angels. Must have been, I mean, for so many years, which I thought was I mean, we used to listen to it and think, oh my God, it sounds great. We're definitely going to do it. We'd do a whole tour. That song wasn't included. I think we only.
We're laughing because he always mentions Cowboys and Angels. He hasn't got his way yet.
And I'm not even lying, no. Help me, guys.
I think we only did it on Symphonica. So it took all that long time. So let that tell you something. We're not ready.
Look what I've done.
Shirley, have you got a?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's similar to my Joe. I mean, the thing that me and Joe have in common is that we're, I think, the only female backing vocals that he's ever used. In the studio one-on-one. So, as Joe did Moments with You, it's the same for me when we did Father Figure, and also when we did Freedom. So it's just the two of us. It's not the engineer. It's not even. And you just, he's there, I'm here. The mic's in between. And like Joe said, you just look at him and you're like, I think George Michael loves me. But him as a human being, I mean. He was just such a generous,
guy,
loving, giving, protective
He was.
Well,
loyal.
Very, yeah,
loyal
humble,
friend,
yeah.
boss. I mean, you couldn't think of a better person to work for. I mean, I had a
So
mostly professional relationship with him. I didn't socialise with him too much outside of that, but I was very, just Joe did. But I was, I had a long professional career with him, and we had an incredible relationship that had a shorthand of what he wanted me to do, and I would deliver it to him. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
And it's amazing because I mean, you would look at somebody like George, international superstar, but he was really quite a shy, reserved person.
Oh,
yeah.
He was really
Cute,
kind of
the cutest,
it was
man. Yeah.
nothing like what you
Super
would think,
humble,
like a rock star going out. He was really private, very aloof.
But when you walked into a room, when you were in that kind of rehearsal space,
Oh, I know everyone.
he was a different. He was
Oh, he was
George
in
Michael.
charge.
Then you could just his aura.
Oh, yeah.
He
Oh,
just,
yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
You could feel it, and you were just like, okay, right, we're in work mode now. We're in work mode now.
And also, it's weird when you have a really kind of close relationship with him, because when we're with a lot of people, you don't want to be the person that's like, oh, it's my mate coming.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, George was in
Especially when we
charge.
were but when we were working with other people, we
Oh,
knew
yeah.
him way better than everyone
Yeah.
else. But
Absolutely.
as us, we kind of have to just go, oh, we're part of the band, and
Yeah.
he's not my mate.
I remember there was a situation where I think George just came in and he was getting his mic set up, and I think I was reading the Sun paper, and then it went quiet, and then George goes, we'll start off when Jay's finished. I felt so impressed. We'll start off when Jay's finished.
How did you shut the paper?
I was like, oh god.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Thanks,
You've
George.
been told.
Oh no, for real.
Why do you feel it's important to continue representing George's legacy for new audiences today?
Well, we're the voices on the records to start with. We have really strong connections with George. It's authentic, it's honest, it comes from a really beautiful, lovely, like pure place. And for new audiences, as you know what I was saying, it's like we're actually at White City House at the moment, and what is really interesting is that there's loads of young members that are here, but they're all bringing their parents, so which is lovely because they're actually sharing moments together. And so with that in mind, by them bringing their parents, they're also the youth are also listening to the music as well. But there wasn't one of his tracks was on a massive movie recently with Father Figure, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's been on loads of films. I mean, it was the Nicole Kidman film.
Yeah, that's right. Baby Girl.
Baby Girl.
Yeah.
What song was it again? What song was it?
Father Figure.
Father
not
Figure.
Baby
So
Girl.
that would have
But
reached.
it's-
That would have reached like.
Yeah, it's a whole a new generation. I think have definitely been introduced to George, and I think the thing is with us doing what we're doing. Look, we're in our infancy really of this, and hopefully it's just going to grow. But I do feel like Joe said, we are part of the George Michael story,
Part of his journey.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I know there are
Absolutely.
lots of tribute artists out there that are doing their thing, which is great, and people have a great time listening to the music because it's great music. But we're bringing the connection, the stories behind the scenes. It's like an access all areas pass to get a little insight into what George Michael was like. So not only the new fans are hearing the beautiful music, they're also hearing about how he was as a man,
That's
as
right.
a boss,
Yeah.
and
Sharing
the things
emotions.
that he
Yeah.
taught us. So I think that we have definitely, there's a place for us which we are growing, and it's really growing steadily, and we're happy with the growth.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I think George would be really happy and proud of us
He'd be proud of us.
doing this
He
and
would.
keep doing the music and singing the songs the way he wanted and getting our vocals right
Yeah,
and working on all of that. I think he'd be super happy.
And we're working really, really hard to make sure that we do continue his legacy the way that he, that he would want it to be continued.
And I think as well, I mean, it's when you look at the standard of music today, I don't think, I can't think of any artist today that writes the way George does. Hence why he was a fantastic writer, a brilliant producer. I think, considering, George was feels like he was doing this forever. How many albums did he really do for an artist?
Well, I mean, not a lot.
He didn't do a lot.
No, I mean,
that shows you how perfectionist he
yeah,
was.
so Faith, Listen Without Prejudice.
Older.
Older.
Oh.
Ladies and Gentlemen.
Patience.
Patience and...
Songs from the
Songs from the Last Century.
Songs from the Last Century.
So that's not a lot of albums. No. And also for an artist of his kind of stature, caliber, that's a better word than that.
Much better word.
He only did, there was only 4 tours, so it's not a lot. Yeah.
I actually remember when, funny as we were talking about the albums that he'd done, he said he'd done this kind of acronym thing, and he said if he was to look at the titles of his album, he had Faith, Listen Without Prejudice, Older, and Patience, and the word that came up was flop. So
That's true. He was like, oh dear. Just for anyone that's wondering why there are now mics here and there weren't before, it wasn't like a magic trick. We just someone came in and we had to pause a minute and then he put.
So they're not just props.
Yeah, because all of a sudden it
We're
was
not going into song, are we?
Yeah. No, we're not going.
We've got to pay for that.
You've got to come and see us. You've got to get tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're not already sold out.
If George could see the love that the audiences still have for him today, what do you think he would feel?
Oh, he loved his lovelies. He said he got the best fans.
He did. He does have the best fans.
Do you know what? He is looking and seeing, but I can feel it.
I mean, it is. I mean, it is that thing. I mean, every time we do a show, I mean, I'm always kind of feeling that George is looking up at us and saying, "Well done, guys. This is exactly what I would have wanted you to do." And I think that's the feeling that
it just feels right.
We get through every show that we've ever done.
Yeah, we
apart
do.
From one.
What was that? Which show?
Well, let's not go there.
What show?
Which show?
From one.
Which show?
I'll tell you later.
Later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Tell me later. Okay, cool.
And then I'll have to kill you.
Can we have to edit it out?
One that we did. I mean.
No.
Right.
Go for it.
Oh, you really want to know now, don't you?
We do.
Did George ever give you any advice or say something that stayed with you?
Yes. Yes. And he was bloody right. He said,
What?
just remain single, Joe. He said, you're a free spirit. You're too much of a free spirit. He said, remain single. And he was absolutely right.
Oh.
That's one sound. And, well, it wasn't actually advice. I'll just never forget when we first met and he went, I was thinking,
Good smelling you.
What you went, it's at Chanel number 5. And he said, it really suits you. He goes, I know someone very special that wears Chanel number 5.
God, he knew his perfumes, didn't he?
Yeah, no, but someone very special.
Wow.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I think everyone knows that now.
Yeah. So I kept wearing Chanel number 5 after that.
I think the one thing he did say to me, and I wish he hadn't, was for me to go ahead and continue with my solo career when I had an album out and not go on his tour. He said, this is your chance, take your shot. And I wish he'd have said, don't go and come with me, I'll buy the record company. That's what he should have done.
It's weird you say that though. If you remember when I think we'd done the cover to cover tour.
Oh, done.
And then, should we say this one?
Oh no, say it now.
I was like, right. Anyway, we'd done the cover to cover tour, which was a really long tour, and it, I don't know, it was a great tour because that was one of my first tours. However, we had another tour. I think it was coming up to the end. It was the end of the year, right? So I think we just came off of it, and they asked us again to do the
American leg.
Yeah.
And the American
and the English leg.
Yeah.
Is it the American leg of the cover to cover tour?
Yeah, I think
and
it
the
was.
English.
And the English. And I don't know what.
So we did Rio and Europe.
Europe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
What you didn't do it?
No,
we were
because
thinking of.
I know what we were thinking.
Why? Why did you do it?
Okay, I'm going to say it's because.
This is,
okay. I'm going to speak for myself because I don't know about Jay, but I didn't really get on with. Well, there were 3 singers, me, Jay, and another singer, and I didn't gel with that singer. And I wish that I'd have gone to George and told him the reason that I didn't want to continue. Not that he would have, you know, fired the other girl or whatever, but I'm just saying, I wish I'd have told him the truth rather than just saying, I don't want to do the tour, I can't do any more touring, because I'd already said no to him going on the Faith tour. Then he's got me back again. I've done the half of the tour, and now me and him are leaving, and then he's got to get in. I mean, it's just I feel like we really let him down, and it's
weird.
It's bugged me for a year.
And we still speak about this to this very day.
I don't know what we were thinking.
Was we thinking?
This is what happens in the music industry. Basically, if there's loads of shit going on behind the scenes, no one takes it to the artist because they don't, because you don't want, you're just there to do your job. So you just quietly walked away rather than sort of.
I wish I had expressed to him my reasons, because we just walked away and he didn't have it.
Didn't
know.
And he must have been thinking, is she serious? This is
and furthermore, I mean, let's be frank, look, in every job, you're not going to get on with everybody. So in hindsight, it could have been worked out.
It could have been worked out, but the thing is, why I wish I hadn't let that person influence what I did, because George is more important to me, and I should have just sucked it up.
If George was alive today, what would you want to say to him?
Me personally, I would just honestly say I'm so sorry that I didn't do that Faith tour with you, because it has actually been the regret of my professional career. And I kind of wish I'd have told him again. We just explained a little earlier, but I wish I'd have told him my reasons for jumping off the cover to cover tour, because I mean, I feel like now it would have hurt him, and that hurts my heart.
I'd like to say thank you so much. Literally, he just changed the whole trajectory of my life. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have the career I have today. You know, when you work with someone of that caliber, you know, they put a silver spoon in your mouth. So like from that job, I got another job. I went on to work with Ronan Keating because he wanted to use the George Michael singers. A George Michael singer. Well, as singers, because he asked you to do it as well. So I just want to say massive thank you, and I love you. I miss you. I wish I'd have seen you more in the last stage of your life. I, like Shirley, have massive regret for not sort of reaching out a bit more towards the end. But you didn't know. No one knows it was the end. So it was just like I just wish I'd have called you more. And
absolutely,
exactly. I mean,
and just checked in. So I'm sorry for that. And I love you and I miss you and thank you.
Yeah, I think like Shirley was saying, it would have been great to have actually carried on that tour, and it would have been the right thing to do, to have had some form of like a communication, which would have been easier. But I guess hindsight's a wonderful thing. But I think I would have loved to have kind of had the experience in his prime to actually work with him again, and for him to produce stuff just to kind of really get the fullness of his talent, and just to see what magic we could have produced.
Just funny, because you know what, when you're younger you don't realise sort of, because I was in fight or flight mode quite a lot, so I don't feel like I was too present sometimes, and I wish I was a little bit more present, and just like now sort of looking back, I'm just like, wow, the amount of generosity from him and how much he gave, you know, with like having us on all the hits, knowing that that's going to continually pay out for the rest of our lives. You know, those were his decisions, and knowing that we would always be safe because we get residuals for that. You know, elevating us, you know, giving us a chance, and just all of those things that and I think that is another one of the main reasons why I guess we are still doing this today. And because it's almost like we're giving back to him, giving back to ourselves, holding on to the memories, making more memories, sharing them with fans, new fans, everything, all of it. It's just it feels right, and I'm just I love you guys as well.
We really hope you enjoyed that episode of Conversations with the George Michael Singers, and we're a bit sad that it's the last one of season 2, but keep an eye on our socials at the George Michael Singers on Facebook and Instagram, and also TikTok.
Exactly.
For updates, because we're coming back bigger and better for season 3. So stay tuned, guys. Have a lovely summer. Mwah.
Hope you enjoyed that episode of Conversations with the George Michael Singers. We really hope you learned a little bit more about George Michael. Keep listening, keep following us. There's lots more to come.